Hey guys, I literally recorded this video before, but I had to cross through time and space to get here, and that is because we are going over the Hound of Tindalos, the last unit in the Beyond Time and Space expansion that is a little bit confusing. So we're going to be going pretty deep on this unit. I love it. He is a very popular monster of Lovecraftian lore. Everybody loves this unit, this creature. He is in tons of like sub-fiction, games, anything like that. And here we go, Hound of Tindalos. He definitely does not look particularly hound-like, which is fine. He does have kind of like long legs and maybe his feet are a little bit hound-like. He is a combat monster, to be sure. Well, not a monster, he's a terror. And what does that mean? Basically, terrors are just like monsters, except in terms of hierarchy, except instead of things that affect monster, like capture monster or something like that, they don't work on him because he's a terror, not a monster. He does not protect cultist from being captured from Grey Old Ones, but he does from other monsters because he's at the same level. Otherwise, he's, just pretty much just normal. It says, pay 2 doom and 2 power to obtain this loyalty card. Then place the Hound of Tindalos at any gate, even one you do not control. Okay, so that's the beginning of the coolness of the Hound of Tindalos. He, just like all terrors and neutral monsters, once you have control of him, you have control of him for the rest of the game, even if he dies. If he does die, it costs you 4 power to put him out again. Luckily, it is difficult to kill the Hound of Tindalos. He is a combat 4 monster. There is very few monsters in the game with that many combat dice, but he is one of them. He is a super huge monster. He has not just one ability, he has 2. The first is Chronophage. Ongoing, the Hound cannot perform the move action by itself. The Hound moves for free whenever you move any other unit. In doing so, the Hound teleports directly from an area with a gate to another area with a gate, neither of which need to be controlled. Okay, so if you take a move action anywhere on the board, then your Hound also gets to move to any other gate. Okay, pretty straightforward. He also has an ability called Angles of Time. It's an ongoing ability. The Hound cannot be assigned a kill in battle. He does not absorb kills. He just cannot be assigned a kill. However, if a Hound is ever in an area without a gate due to being pained to such an area, or the gate itself being destroyed or moved, it is eliminated. It can also be eliminated if it cannot be pained due to enemy presence in adjacent areas per normal pain rules. So, in a scenario that if you were fighting, say you were Cthulhu against Black Goat, in this scenario, if there was a pain, then the Hound of Tindalos would be dead, right? Because there is no adjacent gates that do not have units from the opposing faction, which is just like normal pain rules, except anybody else could retreat to an area without a gate. He would just die. So be cautious about that. In general, that should not happen because typically gates are adjacent to each other. All right, so other than being a huge combat monster, how does he synergize with each faction? Wait, I don't have my boards. One moment. Sorry about that, guys. I left it in the other timeline, but I'm back. All right, the Ancients. Nothing particularly special. I don't think there's, other than him being a great unit, There's nothing particularly great. Black Goat. No, it just doesn't particularly matter. It's kind of cool that he can join Shub-Niggurath with Avatar. So don't discount that. I often get frustrated that Shub-Niggurath shows up with Avatar, but she's alone. So if she shows up with the Hound, that's a huge amount of combat dice. They're probably gonna be having a bad day, is my guess. Crawling Chaos. The problem with the Hound and why he doesn't support the Nyarlathotep Harbinger combo as well is mostly because you need to protect Nyarlathotep from dying. And since the Hound cannot absorb any kills, it's not great. However, you do get to move him for free, and he brings a lot of combat dice. So of course, it's a pretty good deal. Great Cthulhu. So there's not a lot here. He is a good combat monster. Cthulhu likes combat. He is expensive though, and he's as expensive as Cthulhu. And in general, I would prefer to have Cthulhu because he gives you an Elder Sign. But a couple notes. One, does Submerge kill Hound of Tindalos? Well, Angles of Time says if a hound is ever in an area without a gate, it is eliminated. Well, it's area capital A. Submerge does not say that there is some secret submerged area, capital A. It's moved to your board. And because it's very specific, like Submerge is very specific and Angles of Time is very specific, then you can't just say anything not an area on the board is another new area. It just isn't. So the Hound of Tindalos does not die based off the verbiage from being submerged. However, I would almost never submerge Hound of Tindalos because if you remerge where there is no gate, then there's no value. On the other hand, though, Chronophage only moves when you move, and Submerge is not a move action, so that's like one of the rare situations I might. Keep it in mind. I think it's risky because you're basically choosing to never remerge where there is no gate, unless you're willing to kill your Hound. Open or the Way. So, he is an expensive enough unit to activate the Beyond one, so you can steal gates. Which is pretty cool, because he can basically bring a gate with him. Alright. He can follow along Yog-Sothoth, because Yog-Sothoth is a gate. So wherever Yog-Sothoth moves, inherently there is a gate. The downside is that if Yog-Sothoth dies, he may end up killing Hound as well, because the Hound will not have a gate if Yog-Sothoth was the only gate. Also, if you're playing Open or the Way and somebody else is playing the Hound of Tindalos, if you activate the Beyond one and steal the gate, you may have just killed the Hound, which is pretty cool, to be honest. So some good interactions there, definitely fun. But we move on. Sleeper. It just, no. Nothing too super special about it. And Cho-Cho does not move very often. I don't think it's a good combination. At least with the base tribe. If you swap out the tribes, which aren't like out yet, but once those rules are out, then it may change. Windwalker. Windwalker, they move all the time. Plus, being able to split their movement for free, because Hound moves for free, I think it's a powerful combination. I don't think it's an immensely powerful combination, but if you let Windwalker get another 4 combat die monster that's very difficult to kill, along with Ron Tegoth, who is very difficult to kill, I think that people are going to have a bad day. Yellow sign. Now, typically, you don't necessarily want to combine a lot of combat units with yellow sign. However, a big part of that is because of the fact that yellow sign is often starved for power. Here, yellow sign has a unit that has a lot of combat dice and can move whenever somebody else moves. So it could possibly be a good combination. I think that having the kind of power that the Hound of Tindalos has with its 4 combat dice, I think it may help dissuade people from a late game kill to your King in Yellow. And let's face it, if King in Yellow looks like they're gonna win, people are just taking down that King in Yellow. They are. He just dies all the time. All right. The only thing that I think is worth pointing out that I didn't mention here is the anti-synergy of Crawling Chaos and Hound of Tindalos, because if you control his pains, you can easily force Hound of Tindalos to move to an area with no gate. It's not as powerful late game, but definitely early to mid game, Crawling Chaos is like a hard counter to the Hound of Tindalos, like Angles of Time protection. You just control his pain, force him to go somewhere else, and there you go. All right, guys, did I mention everything related to the Hound of Tindalos? If I did not, comment down below, tell me what I missed, or let's move on to the topic that I started all this for. I am putting together some videos where I combine different optional rules and try to create the most interesting scenarios possible. And when I say interesting, I don't mean most powerful combination. I mean, we want all the players battling over these optional rules to leverage them the most. So which combinations make for the most fun gameplay? Comment down below. And with that, bye guys.